Welcome back to another review from Mega Train Lover. Today we are having a look at a railroad locomotive, a Hornby railroad locomotive, as you can see from the packaging. But the locomotive is not in the box. Why? Well, because I've had this for a couple of months and it's already out of the box, and I've ran it in, I've DCC'd it. There's no point in putting it back. But anyway, if you're wondering what it is an LMS compound, LMS compound 440 R3063. Now, to be more specific, it is number 1000, which is the only preserved Midland compound, and it is of course the cheaper, the budget railroad version, because Bachmann make an absolutely excellent model, very well detailed, but that model costs £140. This is about half the price. This costs £60, which is less than half the price. But so it may not be as well detailed, but for the money you do get quite a nice locomotive. Now, if we was to open the box, you'd get the instruction sheets and all that sort of thing, stuff we've seen like 100 million times. But anyway, let's put the box to one side and let's have a look at the main article, which is the locomotive. And here she is, absolutely beautiful. Alright, so let's get the bad things out of the way first. For a start, there are no sprung buffers, even though to me that's not too much of a downside, because I don't really mind sprung buffers. It's not like they don't really have too much use. They just add a bit more realism to the model. But this is a railroad model, so it's a budget model. Obviously, now you can clearly see that the detail is more basic than the Bachmann one. But if you think about it, this is half the price of the Bachmann one, so obviously they had to make some compromises. And this is quite an old tooling. This is from the 1980s, or even before that. But it's still a nice model. You can see you get the very big driving wheels, and it's a 440, so you have the four bogie wheels at the front, the 4 driving wheels, and then you don't have any wheels behind the driving wheels. So, and then you can see the valve gear there with the cylinders and the pistons. At the front, you can see the brake pipe, which I've added myself, and there's the number 1000. The front bogie here is quite loose, although there is no way you can secure it, as you can see. It's just left dangling like that, but it's alright. Now, the tender and the locomotive are permanently coupled. As you can see, there's the wire, which you cannot remove. There is no plug to remove the wire. But there is the number again, number 1000. You do get handrails running along both sides of the boiler, and then you get the safety valves there with the whistle. If we just turn it round, you get exactly the same on the other side, except you get this extra bit of detail here along with this metal bar, which I think is part of the reverser, but I'm not entirely sure. The livery is more basic than the Bachmann one, but it's still very, very neatly applied. You don't get any linings, but on the boiler you don't get any linings. You do get linings on the wheel arches and along the running board, but that's about it. But it's still a nice livery. It's still very, very nicely represented. Now, because the tender is permanently attached, I can't really show you the cab, but if I just turn it, you can see the cab. Now, it is quite nicely detailed, although of course it is not painted like on the more premium models. Here's the tender, which says LMS on it. One thing I do like is the way they've painted the axle boxes and the springs separately, so they stand out from the rest of the moulding. I think that's quite a nice touch. At the back you get a large tension lock coupling, which does have a dovetail connection, but when I tried to remove it I ended up breaking it because I wanted to replace it with a slimline tension lock, so no, I'm just not going to bother doing that. No sprung buffers at the back either, but you do get a separately fitted brake pipe which you have to add yourself. You get the water filler cap there. Also at the front you did have a large tension lock coupling here, but I removed it because it made the front end look a bit silly. If you just turn to the other side of the tender, it's exactly the same as the other side. It says LMS. Yeah, you do get a few separately fitted items like these handrails on the cab sides, and then these tiny little handrails there. Just I think those are separately fitted, but I could be wrong. The tender is quite big compared to the locomotive, but this is quite an old tooling, so it actually dates from the time when the motor used to be in the tender. Now the decoder goes in the tender, which is very handy, because in the locomotive there would pretty much be no room for a decoder, because you get the motor there, and that's it. It covers 90% of the inside of the model. So in the tender it's much easier. You just lift the tender body off and then you put the decoder in. Very, very easy. So yeah, so all in all, even though it may not be as detailed as the Bachmann one, it's still it's still a nice model. I do like it. But anyway, let's see how it runs on the track. So here we are at the track, and here is the Hornby Railroad Midland compound, LMS Midland compound. So she does have a fair few wheels, but let's just put the tender wheels on, and then the driving wheels, and then the bogie wheels. There we go. Now, oh my god, she does look beautiful. Let's select her number, which is number 39. And off she goes. Wow. Just look how silent she is. Well, I mean, especially compared to some of my other locomotives, she's incredibly silent. And if it wasn't for the sound of the wheels, I probably wouldn't think that she's even running. Wow, but she's incredibly smooth. I mean, most railroad models are, but she is just, wow, she's performing beautifully. Let's get a few line side shots. But yeah, all in all, she's very, very nice. Just to conclude this video, she may not be as detailed as the Bachmann model, of course, but if you're on a budget and you really want a model of this gorgeous steam locomotive, then I do recommend her, because, well, for the money, she does pack a lot of punch. Her performance is great, and she's not all that badly detailed. She's very, very nice. So yeah, I do recommend her. But anyway, thanks for watching, and see you later. Goodbye.